But thanks to Alamin, my house looks fasting and Ramadan compliant. Decorations everywhere, and so the two of them are excited, but Oga slept it off. I didn't wake him because it's 4, but from the front she can try. I started fasting officially, that's why I want to say it out there, at 13. Every other fast I fasted before 13, I used to shop something.
I used to hide and shop.
My parents would reward every child. You get a badge, you get a fruit, you get money, and all that time they thought they were paying me for fasting.
Jesus.
I was drinking water in school. So,
I can imagine.
So I don't want to push my daughter because I knew when I officially honestly started.
30 days journey, right?
Yes. Wow. Yes. Maybe 29, maybe.
Okay. Wow. God accept us.
Yes. Amen. How you doing, Mariam?
I'm fine. Today is day 2 of our self-love challenge with Lifestyle with ML. Yesterday,
I responded to one of your...
Yes, beautiful. Thank you so much for everyone that participated. So many people participated. And I mean, people are just good people. And sometimes when you do not pay attention, a few people were like, because I never just pay attention to my good side, I didn't realize, you know, the many things about myself that I love.
I can't think, what am I? What do I love myself? I had to process it. So it was a good exercise, actually.
Many people say so. So today is, you must find time today, no excuses, do something that you love. No matter what, no matter how small, just do something that you love for yourself today, and that's what we're doing for day 2.
I love ice cream. Can I have some ice cream?
Anything you love, anything you love for yourself. It's about self-love. So whatever it is that you love, take the time out.
I like those movies that take 3 hours, where you're just going through from story, like a dynasty kind of storyline, family. I like just like this, but you don't have those kind of movies anymore. Everybody pop up 1 hour, 2 hours, you're done. But you know, I'll think of something.
You could try Indian movies. They are quite
I love it because it takes long. You know, it goes through the story. I like it. Okay, I'll do it.
Those ones that have like 21 cameras and then
Hi, BBC.
I'm doing amazing. So yesterday I decluttered. I just realized that my room was sort of full, and I was wondering where is this problem
see anything
coming? It's not
the clutter this side. Sorry, we have similar heights. I know we're not similar weights, but
did you say similar heights?
No, don't mind that. we're not similar heights. So I just woke up that morning, and by the time I finished, I was done. I looked at my room. I said, hey, this now looks like a room that is worthy of sleeping in. And I had to sort out some things. So usually I have people I send things to in the different villages that I know people. And I'm already making plans to send them down and maybe try to
Can I add to your sending down? Because I have I try to declutter every 6 months. I mean, I make a conscious effort to do it. But the thing just piles up again and piles up again. So please,
you know you're on
I'll
TV,
carry
so
load for you.
Clothes,
I need to give
I don't mind. I'll send them
You
down.
don't have younger ones.
I do.
Younger ones.
I share that issue of you don't want to give out. You know,
I share them.
We are very strict with them. I keep an open door, so I don't. What I don't see, I know somebody has taken.
I don't have anything. I don't have anybody coming to my house. I would love. When I was growing up, my mother had people coming to the house to just take clothes, and I was enjoying aunties coming, carry bag, and the girls go. Me, I don't have anybody coming to my house. So the thing is just there. Only when my helps, I give to my help. So I was chill. So the only people that take for my wardrobe.
I also have a daughter that's my size, so she picks hers first.
I keep some pieces for my daughter.
Keep
this for me for when I grow up. I'm like,
All right, so much happening.
Congratulations.
Yes, so I was at I was at the Eco Staff yesterday, Film Star Awards, and I really appreciate the honor that was done on behalf of the ladies of UView. Thank you very much. This is something, the show is a collective effort of the ladies, and I appreciate the efforts you've done to build this show to where it is right now. And I thank God that they are recognizing us, and it's an important that we are grateful for these opportunities. Okay. Let's go. I finally met Moabudu.
You looked amazing, by the way. I was waiting for you to say that.
Hoping to meet Moabudu. And I was saying that whenever I meet her, I'm going to give her a hug. But that event was not the kind of event you give her because we are all sweaty and all trying to. And she was quite busy. But I saw her and I said, you know what? I said I would give you a hug.
You gave her a peck.
And that was being the award now. That was it. But the normal peck. I just told her that, you know what? I owe you a hug, but not today. I said, oh, don't worry, whenever you can. I owe you a hug.
You know, for stuff I should have hugged her
because I'm respecting my space because you know this kind of people, you don't have to just go and
then she tell her sorry.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
The nation, God.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Gunshots, pandemonium rocks Southeast PDP Congress. Governors promise autonomy for legislature, judiciary. 1.2 million COVID-19 vaccine doses given. I petition police over fraud, land grabbing by Igboho. Slain army captain, 10 soldiers buried in Benue. And Buhari governors greet Muslims as Ramadan begins. There's a story here, I forgot. Bandits kill father, son, 3 others in Kaduna. House, vehicles razed. Okay, which story are we going to
So I petitioned the police over fraudulent act by Igboho. Was written by a real estate agent in Ibadan. His name is Alhaji Waheed Adetunji. He said that, you know, there was a land grabbing issue between himself and Igboho that he has been trying to get justice over. So he wrote a petition to the Oyo State Police Command, and nothing was done. It seemed like they were protecting Sunday Igboho, who claims upon every arrest that, you know, it's based on his activism that they're trying to arrest him. So now he's petitioned the IG, and the IG has, you know, assigned the matter to Alagbo, and that they have invited him and arrested some of Igboho's boys over a land issue at Idimango village, Soka area of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in Ibadan. And that he has a strong connection within the police and is frustrating his arrest.
Well, I don't even know why a private matter between a private citizen, 2 private citizens, is making front pages. And that for me,
I'm
not discussing it, but
just to explain it. I'm in the business.
You don't have to explain it now. You don't have to explain it. Let's move on to that story.
I'm in the business. Sometimes you have to.
COVID-19,
Yeah, so the federal government is really happy with the way Nigerians are responding to taking the COVID-19 vaccines. It was supposed to end today, but they are likely going to extend the vaccination by 2 weeks. So they are saying that they've given out about 1.2 million vaccines yet. And in about, you're not normally supposed to take the second dose of the vaccine in 8 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks. So by that time, yes, 90 days. So we're expecting we may have gotten some vaccines. And they're working hand in hand with the ICPC to ensure that there is no form of corruption, there's transparency, no money is hiding anywhere concerning the vaccination.
Yeah. So. You know, I was laughing while you were reading it, because when we talked about the vaccine coming, everyone said, no, I'm not going to take this vaccine. How do I know? Everybody has taken it. Let me report myself, I've taken.
We are still waiting for the
Anyways, there's the other story. Bandits, again, have attacked in Kaduna State. And sadly, this time around, they killed a man, his 7-year-old son, and 3 others. It's in Giwa and Zangon Kataf area that this happened. They set 7 houses on fire, a car, and a motorcycle. The Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs said that security operatives chased them, they ran into the bushes, but he also said that they were able to recover some ammunition, and that there was another gang of bandits that tried to attack a community off Kajuru Budawe, and it's called Rugambello. But in this case, they were able to repel them, and one of them was even killed as they were trying to do this. So it just shows that, yes, in some cases they get away with it, in other cases the government is also working hard to repel them.
Okay, let's move on to Vanguard. Many fear dead, injured, 3 villages sacked in Iboyin. Apapa gridlock. Has Sanwo-Olu run out of steam? As mayhem on Oshodi Apapa worsens. Resident doctors threaten to resume strike in 4 weeks if demands are not met. Kuka asked governors to address religious uprising in North. Yinka Odomake for burial April 24th. PDP Congress Makinde is Southwest leader, says Fayoshe. Our cement price lower in Nigeria than other countries, says Dangote. Ayiri Emami remains suspended as Ologbosere, says Iyasere. And Sultan confirms sighting of moon, says Ramadan fast begins today. Which story?
So,
Nima, go ahead.
Picture. As you can see on the front page of the Vanguard, that was the situation yesterday. And I must pray for myself, the way I drive sometimes. But according to this Vanguard report, they took a holistic, assessment of every issue in Apapa. And this, report talks about the fight for others' complaints, the governor's assessment of the situation, and his promise to deal with it. The corruption there, everything that has been happening on that side, and the e-call-up that was supposed to bring the relief that we're looking for, and how it failed in Apapa again. So I think everybody should just read this report, and we should also try to decongest the environs. So they successfully decongested the Kirikiri Beggar side, because I have to pass there now to walk. And the Apapa Badagry Expressway to Maltu, which is under construction now, the Mazamaza end to that place is under construction, is worsened by packed trucks. And you have trucks parked from Trade Fair all the way. Tankers taking over the road, trying to access Satellite Town. It shows that, you know, government's presence there.
Is it about security operators are overpowered? Because of the miscreants obviously are cashing in.
It's the touts who are law there.
So
we don't see, on the Badagry Expressway side of things, we don't see any security agents. You have to get to Maltu, the inward Apapa, before you start seeing LASMA and all of that. And then they are even overwhelmed by, you know, task force members also compromising their work there.
Okay, let's move on to...
National Association of Resident Doctors are saying that if they do not complete the negotiations that they have started with the federal government, they will likely go back to the strike in 4 weeks. So they said they have, you know, reached some form of progress, about 75 to 80%. About 239 doctors have been paid, though they still have some irregularities with the payment, but they're going to sort it out. And they're also working towards ensuring that insurance covers all the doctors and their families that have lost their lives. They're saying that this strike is actually very necessary. If not that they had embarked on the strike in the first place, they wouldn't have been able to reach this level. So, okay,
I'm so happy that Comrade Kadumaki's burial is going to be April 24th.
Okay.
So they're not wasting any time on that, which is a good thing. And we pray that his soul continues to rest in peace. Moving on now to the Punch. Cells overcrowded as Justin strike enters second week, court shut.
Sad.
12 soldiers killed by bandits in Benue buried. That's a very sad picture story there. Last week, policemen knock out driver's teeth in brutal attack. Buhari's aid misfires as Twitter picks Ghana as African headquarters. Lagos fears amputee water hawkers' safety takes over case. Nigeria making progress on COVID-19 vaccine, says Oshimbajo. And we should criminalize vote buying and voter inducement, says Jonathan. Okay, which story are we taking in?
Let me take the human interest story. On the 24th of March, this particular driver called Michael James said he was attacked by 6 officials of LASMA and men of the police force, Lagos State Command, of course, and he said 2 hoodlums. He was on his way to his to the factory where he works to deliver nylon bags, he said. And he was driving along Latif Jakonji Road in Ikeja, and he was stopped by LASMA, and they said that it was one way. And he said he's been driving on this particular road since 2001, and he's never been stopped and told that he was driving against traffic. While he was trying to explain himself, the LASMA officials forced themselves into his car, took the key away from him, and said he held on to one of the officials, and they fell to the ground together. And because of that, one drove off with his car, the others proceeded to beat him until he lost 2 of his teeth. And also it affected it so bad, it affected his gum. And they said when they noticed that he was bleeding, they put him in a bus that they usually work with, went to where they had taken his car to, and told him to leave. They had also asked for his phone, and he refused to give them his phone. He was like, if you are going to take my phone, you must as well take my life. He called his boss, who knew someone, you know, a top person, who called, and he was let go. He said a few days after he's treated himself, which had cost him 80,000 naira, he says he's still in pain. He went back there, and while he was there, he stopped. He noticed one of the LASMA officials that brutalized him, and he was wearing a mask, and he says, please, is this way one way? And they said no, it's not. So he took surreptitiously took a picture of the official, and he said he has it, and now he's just asking for justice. And I do hope he gets it. Well, that's one side of the story. We'll hear from their side as well.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with Punch. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
thanks for staying with us. So we're going to continue with Punch. There was a story that caught my attention.
The Twitter one.
Yes, the one about Twitter. Did you see what he said? Our spokesperson. Anyway, but let me start with first of all. Yes. First of all, as many already know, Ghana is going to be the headquarters for Twitter Africa. And their president was happy about it. There was the general celebration in their country. But a gentleman, I've never heard of his name before. He's supposed to be a member of the All Progressive Congress Party. Let me get his name. Is Mr. Garba. His full name is, what's that?
Adamu?
Adamu, yes, thank you for Adamu Garba. And he was speaking. He was the former presidential aspirant. And he said this, let me quote so that Nigerians can understand how our people speak. Says, I pray Ghanaians would not allow their country to be used as a sugar. Garba, I'm going to read this thing. Okay. Calm down. As a platform for the orchestration of nuisance on the African continent space. He says they just hate Nigeria because they know that the only country that can be the next African superpower, fully democratic, highly mobile population and good working age population is Nigeria. Twitter came to Ghana to target Nigerian market. They won't admit they need us, but we know they need us. But I appreciate the sentiment, Mr. Adamu. I mean, I'm a Nigerian, I'm a patriotic Nigerian. I appreciate the sentiment, but and Uncle,
we're African.
There's a way they speak at this kind of things.
But
you don't see this kind of
Tolu accepted it.
Tolu
says Nigeria has Facebook. Ghana has Twitter, we are brothers, and there's nothing wrong with us.
The major
but Adamu, even in his arrogance and something, we know where the market is. And Ghana know where the market is.
We know the market is in Nigeria. I understand that, but there's a way things are said properly. You say that with some kind of decorum.
You know why
Adamu was attacked on
they need
Twitter.
us? Because of his stand at in October at the hashtag SARS time when he felt
I read that.
To promote,
and please, it's also a private business. The businessman can take his business to any country that he finds favorable. But I want to take the major story. So judicial workers last week, Tuesday, started an indefinite nationwide strike, and the Nigerian police force is most hit. They are complaining that there's a lot overcrowding at their detention facilities. They're not able to release people who are supposed to have gone home on bail. And the acting IG of police, Usman Baba, is asking that they find a way to use alternative dispute resolutions to sort out cases and give out administrative bails. They should not arrest people unnecessarily so as not to crowd the detention in the police station. That's our human rights activist and lawyer, Femi Falana, has also said that, during the COVID-19, the judicial, the courts were actually locked, and a lot of cases were not able to go through. And now again, we're having this strike, which is going to affect a lot of people who are expecting justice in the system. The PRO to the, I think, one of the correctional centers is also saying that this strike is not going to help because the inmates would start inciting themselves, and that could lead to a riot. So the federal government should sort out the judicial workers so that they can go back to work.
Financial autonomy is what they're asking
for.
Moving on to Daily Sun, fan uncovers plot to attack Lagos, Abuja, 4 other airports. Gunmen attack another Ebonyi community. Local government autonomy not in National Assembly to address. Southwest PDP Congress, Fayose Makinde agreed to accept election outcome. No increase in cement price, says Dangote. Igbo have something more important than 2023 president in their hands, says Ohakim. And Ibuagu, ex-envoy, ex-NRC chair, others differ. Okay,
this attack on the airport, do you have
airports, yes. Do you have that story?
No.
I had taken that story, but I'm trying to find the
Yes,
details.
I have the story.
Okay,
so I think they received the reports at the airports that some hoodlums are likely going to be attacking the airports. And they named some of the airports, Kaduna Airport, Maiduguri, Sokoto, Kano, Abuja, and Lagos. So they had distributed this information, and they are beefing up security to ensure that everything works hand in hand. They are also going to be setting up, that FAN is also going to be setting up a committee to review the sort of security network that they have and see the ones that they can, do better to protect themselves. They are warning passengers that you're not going to be driving through the terminals anymore. You will park your cars and walk through. Nobody's going to be waiting for anybody. If you do not have a business in the terminals, you will not be found there.
Exactly the story. I was going to take a story about the National Assembly. Bajabi Amila was saying that the last time they tried to bring up the issue of local government autonomy, they didn't get that two-thirds majority for the passing of that bill. So it's the people that have to decide if they did want local autonomy, and it's something that has been done ground up, not from the National Assembly. So they're working on the constitutional amendment right now, and two-thirds of the states did not agree with us when they started. So it is certain that it's the people that would decide whether they want autonomy for local government or not. So it's just for the people to put pressure on their own, on their representatives, so that they can get this done.
Can we do government attack Ebonyi community?
Yes, please.
Yes. So just a few days after we had this attack that happened at the correctional center in Imo State, gunmen had got into a village. I want to get the name of the village in Ebonyi, and they were shooting. According to eyewitnesses, they were just shooting in the air, trying to sack the residents away from the village. And they heard, the military and the police heard that something was happening and came, and then they disappeared. But the local chief was saying, the traditional leader was saying that he's been waiting for reports from that particular village to know exactly what happened. That there are speculations that it could likely be people came from the border. So there's a village very close, that's the Benue, from Benue State, that they've had issues with Ebonyi State, that it could be those people, Agila people, that came to do the attack. Some people are saying that it was, they saw herdsmen attacking the village, but he doesn't really have the exact details of what happened. The military, the police, they are on it. Investigations are ongoing, and I think they lost about 4 lives. Houses, cars, and a lot of things were destroyed.
In a related story also, BBC Hausa was reporting concerning Imo State, saying that hundreds of northerners are living in droves. According to them, that they are buried about 8 people, and 6 others are receiving treatment in the hospital in Imo State. And they don't know the cause of these attacks on the northerners. And they said that this reporter was saying that they can confirm 60 people that were sent back to Sokoto. More than 20 others also from Kano, Katsina have gone back home, and some are preparing to go also. So they're very worried that some northerners are moving back out of Imo State. And they're hoping that the government and the governors can actually help address this issue, because anybody is allowed to live in anywhere in the country. But the insecurity in these states is causing certain ethnic groups to move back to their regions, according to the BBC Hausa report. Okay, let's move on to Daily Trust. Let's find a story we've not taken. Fertilizer scarcity, price hike scare farmers. Makinde's candidate, Arakpaja, emerges Southwest PDP vice chair. BOI records 35.5 billion naira profit as assets hit 1.8 trillion naira. And arms purchase probe, Chief of Army Staff reps Baker. Okay, which story?
I got the major headline.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so farmers are preparing for the wet season farming period, and they have so many worries already. First of all is the unavailability of fertilizers because of the increase in price. So first, they're saying that farming this season is coming with a lot of challenges. So first of all, because of the kidnapping, banditry, just the total insecurity in the area, many people have to keep farming the same plot of land that they have, that are sort of secure, that they are comfortable planting over there. And because they are doing it over and over again, they would need to boost the fertility of that soil, and they need fertilizers for that. But the fertilizers have gone up in price. Government has also said that they would stop investing in fertilizers. So what government used to do would buy the fertilizers and sell them at subsidized prices to the farmers. But the government is saying that they are not doing that anymore. So in the open market, I think they say fertilizers are going for 7,500, 8,000, and that is tough on its own. Most farmers also need to wait for rainy season to be able to start planting, because we have poor irrigation system in our agricultural sector. I mean, it's just many challenges, and we know what this means, that less food production, higher prices, you know, in the long run.
We have to wrap up, unfortunately, but I wanted us to take that story of the 12 that were killed. I mean, it was in all the papers, and the governor Autumn was apologizing as the army buried soldiers killed by bandits in Benue.
So remember, I think there were 12 soldiers on April 6th. They had gone for the regular peacekeeping operations, and they were attacked and killed by bandits. And the governor had made a statement saying that only 2 of the soldiers were missing, but it was proven that there were 12 of them that were killed. So during the funeral service, he apologized to the families for saying that. He said why he made that statement was based on the information that he got. And he's just also praying and condemning civilians that are taking up arms, you know, and fighting the security operatives. It's really sad that these people were just trying to keep the peace, doing their job, and they lost their life.
Very important is their loved ones left behind. You know, this delay we have in, you know, reaching out to them, paying entitlements and all of that, it should not be encouraged. And we should have a longer term, maybe life insurance for our soldiers in battlefront.
You see, sometimes
as the families.
I mean, as painful as I know this death is, sometimes when you see these kind of pictures, it reminds you that, listen, the war is real. These are human beings. It's not just Boko Haram is fighting soldiers somewhere. You see that people are involved. And it's important that Nigerians begin to understand how important it is for us to not aggravate further what is on ground. Let us find a way to find a peaceful resolution so that we can all live peaceably in our communities. Let's go on a break. When we come back, Governor Rufai is still, El Rufai is still trending. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, yesterday we discussed Governor El Rufai, and today we're discussing Governor El Rufai. He's our trending governor these days. And the story we have of him, he recently sacked 4,000 of his staff, saying that he was not elected to pay salaries. And some of the reasons he gave is the fact that he has about 100,000 staff and that are using up 90% of his resources. And it's impossible for him to continue to sustain that, especially with the limited resources they have within the state from allocation, and that he'll rather use that 90% for the greater good, as we've always said on this show. Of course, he's been attacked on different quarters. Some are saying different things concerning how he could do this to his civil service. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081-270-53687, or you can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, BC, go ahead.
Okay, so while I agree with him that you cannot, if you want a state to develop, you cannot use about 90% of your resources to pay salaries. You need resources to be able to, you know, build schools, build healthcare, you know, build infrastructure, position yourself in put yourself in a good place so that private investors can come in. I understand that, but you have been elected to lead us, and this 90%, 100% you're talking about is the federal government allocation. Now, as the governor of a state, are you not supposed to be thinking of ways to generate resources to be able to take care of your people? What sort of resources does your state have? What can you leverage on to ensure that you are able to adequately take care of your people? Now, the 5,000 or 4,000 staff that you have sacked, did you make provisions for them on how they can survive? We have a problem of crime where a lot of people are not, you know, working. There is no handwork. There is no business to do, and so they resort to crime. This kidnapping that we're talking about today is because people have seen it as a lucrative business and they're going into that. Did you make an arrangement to sort out these people, to put them in a trade or a craft or something, or you just let them go, let them find themselves and find their ways? And also, did you look at this retrenchment or sack holistically? Did you start from the people you are working with? Did you cut down the sizes of your aides if you have them? You know the way our governors have their aides. So the first response should not be sacking because the money is not enough. the first response should be finding ways to generate more revenue from your state to complement what the federal government is giving to you and take care of your people. That's why we elected you there.
Nima, your thoughts?
Me, I would just like to commend him for this one, because sad as it is, it's a bitter pill to swallow. The NLC and Labour have failed themselves. We look at Labour as activism, only to raise minimum wage and address issues. And when it comes to fighting for our workers' rights as it should be, we don't do anything. How many of these workers are even pulling their weight within the civil service? How many of them? People struggle to get civil service job, and you go to a public ministry, public facility, and somebody is telling you, what is it now? I've not finished now. I'm coming. You know, the attitude itself is annoying. And you'll be wondering, if it was your own business, would you not pull your weight? Would you not attend, you know, and do the right thing with your business for it to grow? And you see the civil service like, it's our own. This one is my own. And everybody's just, you know, doing that. He said, according to him, that in 2020 in November, when he got federal allocation, what was left after paying salaries out of the 4.83 billion that he got? What was left was 162.9 million. To do what? With that one, run school, run infrastructure, you know, build anything. You will not. And the people you're paying these salaries, you're seeing them, they're just, you know, going on Hajj and coming back because it's Kaduna. They're putting the right hijabs and all of that. In the civil service, it's about working to help the state generate revenue. When you now go out on these duties that you're supposed to carry, instead of you to come back, you would have taken bribe and come back and you sit pretty. We know, all of us as Nigerians know for a fact that Nigerians don't put their weight in civil service.
What are your initial thoughts on this?
So my thoughts, just like Nima, is it makes sense if you do not have enough funds and resources to develop your state, to find ways to cut down where you may think it's excessive. And for me also, I feel like he's doing this directly to NLC because of the conversations that have been ongoing concerning minimum wage. And we know many governors had come out at the time saying, you know, we cannot afford to pay this new minimum wage. And so for me, I'm seeing this as the fallout from conversations like this, where we insist you pay minimum wage, sort yourself out, find it anyhow. So if the government, take loan, do whatever you need to do. And so the governors are like, okay, we'll wait and see. Now I have decided I'll pay this new wage, but I can only afford so many, and so everyone else has to go, which would have been better. I don't know if that happened when they were having this conversation at a stakeholders meeting, where it would have been, and I hope it was, where he sat down with these civil servants and say, this is what the minimum wage should be, or this is what it will be depending on your level, but we cannot afford it now. Should we do half payments? Should we maintain old wages? Should we give them in installments? You know, things like that. I hope that there was a process before the sacking. That was mine. Secondly, the point that you raised about the civil service with just many people who are not particularly doing their job. And that is the truth. I mean, we can say this, and we're Nigerians. We know that there are so many people in so many offices that, first of all, you don't even resume on time. You are there for maybe an hour or so. In the hour or so that you're there, when somebody comes and needs you to do your job, you stress people out. You don't have files. You have to ask people to pay you money to get their files, you know, things like that. So we have that. But it's sacking, it's the reason he gave. If the reason he gave was this was the reason why we sacked them, because of their inefficiencies, it would be easier to accept.
Labour will come for them for that. Labour will come for them. This one, I think, carries more weight than...
No, let me tell you why it will be an investigation. It will be a report. It will not just be that we just sat down and we saw it. It will be, we investigated these people over time.
But it's difficult to say 4,000 people were inefficient. However,
Nigeria, it's not difficult.
No, it was downsizing. It was not, no, it's not inefficient.
So we understand the civil service, because they are
across local governments.
As you rightly said. There are cases where half of them are even doing PPs. They are all having their private businesses anyway. Yes. So what I'm hearing from the governor is that I would rather create an enabling environment for you to even do your business and excel and stir up our economy than we just collect giving you salaries for doing a job that maybe computer can
I wanted to add. Yeah, sorry, I want to also add.
salaries.
He said something. He said that the pandemic and the lockdown
Exposed.
made it obvious
That's
that
what I
a
was
lot
doing.
can be done with very little
stuff.
and that is not just for public sector, even private sector. Everybody is looking at it and thinking, oh, so I could actually do this with less workers. So that's something that we need to be telling ourselves.
Grade level 12 above were across states, at least in Lagos State, made to come to work, and the other people told to stay home or come once in a while, work from home. And it showed, you really did not need a crowded public place. That
So I'm going to go on a quick break. When we come back, BC, we'll start with you because. Can this be replicated across other states? That's really the conversation now. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still talking about Governor El Rufai's decision to sack 4,000 staff because he's saying that 90% of his resources are going to salaries. And I asked the question before the break. Is this something that can be replicated? I'm not saying I should sack all your civil service, but where governors can sit down and say, you know what, X amount of my resources are going to paying salaries. Are there things we can automate where we don't need this kind of robust or cluttered, I would say, civil service? Is this something that we can, because we keep saying there's no money from the center, there's no more money. Can we replicate this where, okay, let us empower this civil service privately, have these various institutions, let them start their own businesses and grow from within? What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so I personally would like an overhaul of the civil service. It's long overdue. We have problems of bureaucratic bottlenecks where you need a form to be filled or you need a file to get through and you have to sort your way through, you have to bribe your way through before they even pay attention to your file. And a lot of people leave their positions and travel all around in the name of working in the civil service. In fact, as a matter of fact, growing up and getting to finish school, the first thing everybody tell you, why don't you work in the civil service? You have time to follow this and follow your passion and do your business and all that. So the civil service has been used by people to meet their other needs aside from the needs that they were brought there for. And I believe that it should be overhauled. But I'm worried that there may not be any plan to help these people that you are taking away from the civil service. Now, somebody mentioned if they were being sacked for their inefficiencies. Now you can say, okay, you're not performing well and I let you go because I need good hands to perform well. That one is even more understandable. But if you're going to just release people to go because you can no longer pay them as a state, if it's a private organization or private company, you would understand that they owe nobody any apology. But as a state, you have empowered these people for years and you're going to just let them go. Do you have any plans to give them like a soft landing for them to find their feet?
Right.
Those who have worked in the civil service for that long, they do not even have any form of welfare package to take care of them in their old age. You have pensioners, seeking to go on strike from time to time. Do you have any plans to ease these people into and give us a plan also
Let me take Emmanuel and come
on
to you,
how you want this
Emmanuel,
to work?
are you still there? From Bagada. Emmanuel, you're live. I can't hear Emmanuel. We can increase the volume, please.
Hello, good morning, ladies.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
First time call, huh?
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, okay. Just to contribute to what you're discussing this morning, and I think it's important that we put this in the right perspective. So we complain a lot about our government, the leadership in Nigeria, and then sometimes when they take action, so we still again subject them to some kind of scrutiny. That you begin to wonder, okay, so what exactly are we expecting from these people? I would rather that we use this Governor El Rufai as an example, across all our states. I tell you today, I don't know if you have been to any of the local councils, recently. And then you get to ask yourself, why do we have this much people to do this little? And then in this age, in this present age, where technology is increasing, and then you begin to see examples, even by the government. So you see people carrying files from here and there, things that you can just do by, a click, of reporting, from the system. And then you see us wasting, a whole lot of, man hours every day, day in, day out. And that affects a whole lot of things, even in developing your state or developing the country as a whole. So another angle to it is the way government is in Nigeria.
Hello, Emmanuel. Oh, I think we lost him. Yes, Nima, go ahead.
I already commended the governor for what he did, but I have a problem with how it was done. So we know that the age of retirement in the country is above 60, but he retired compulsorily, people above 50. I feel that you should have allowed them, because the contributory pension, I think they have a duration of contribution. And I hope they do that in Kaduna State, because he cannot afford to pay. Since he cannot afford to pay their salaries, he can afford to pay their pension anyway. So he also casualized workers between level 1 and level 6 within the civil service. Casualization is something I abhor. I hate it. I expect that the NLC, those are the issues that they should be, canvassing. You cannot casualize anybody. We already have private businesses casualizing our citizens in their businesses in the name of reducing workload, reducing costs. And people are treated almost like slaves in such companies. People have certain rights that they must be entitled to. I recently saw a family member's employment package, and I was happy because it included every single thing that it should include.
Now, there's a flip side to this, because we always remember that this state, Lagos State, the former governor of Lagos, Ashiwaju at the time, during Obasanjo's period, did not get any kobo from the federal government.
How did he survive?
One kobo.
And he survived.
And it was until Fashola came that we started getting allocation.
Yes.
So he was creative, and he started finding ways to collect VAT from the informal sector and even the formal sector. He found a way to generate revenue within
the state.
So that's a governor who was creative at the time in this state. What is Governor El-Rufai doing to ensure that creativity, the way he's staring at the government?
His workers did what they needed to do. They would go to the companies that they needed to go with their letter saying, these are what you're owing the state. These are your withholding taxes that is entire, or you're paying, whatever your tax that should come to the state, they will go there and work at getting it. You can't just sit in the office and say that the
government sacked 4,000, but could there have been creative ways of generating revenue, which he has probably not explored?
That they should have even proposed to him as workers. They should propose it. Go to governor, say, Governor, maybe your eye close to this one. See how we can help you generate money, and see whether the governor will think twice.
So definitely the conversation, we have had it many times here about how we expect our governors to be more creative concerning resources and funds from the state. We cannot continue to depend on the federal government for these allocations. We just spoke yesterday about Obaseki saying that they had to print out money because there's really no money. So this is so what the Kaduna State governor might also be saying is that even from the printed money, we didn't even get enough. So definitely there has to be a different way of doing business going forward. But I think that is more in the long run. In the short run, what does a state do in the short run to create and develop the state for infrastructure, to build, to open up schools, to open hospitals? What do they need to do? My only fear is that when you let go these 4,000 workers, where do they end up?
That's what Bisi was saying.
Yeah, where do they end up? What do we do with them? Do they now become a nuisance in the society where we're now looking for ways to, curb crime again? So that's the thing.
Let's take this quick call from Richard from Port Harcourt. Are you there, Richard? Hello, Richard. You're live. Go ahead, please. Hello, Richard.
Hello. Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, a very interesting conversation you're having.
Yeah.
But I think you should be looking at it from a very fundamental part, based on the fact that you should be asking, what is the governor's business with sacking local government workers? If we are running a true federalism, the local government is supposed to be in charge of their own tax, employment and all that. So the governor, what he's doing right now is to set up a caretaker committee. And caretaker committee is illegal to our constitution. You understand? So this thing they are doing is an illegality. So fundamentally, the government has no business with local government workers. So each local government should be able to generate revenue. I understand I've had a business experience working at.
Thank you very much, Richard. Yes, the final comments have to run.
Yes, so I think leaders should understand that leadership is not about passing the buck, but about taking responsibility. So if you check your books and you see that the federal government is not doing enough for us, we cannot survive on what the federal government is bringing, I would expect that you get your experts, you should have some in your state, to advise you on the way forward, to look through your resources, what you have, and how you can maximize it to help your people. Even if at the end of the day you realize, okay, the state can no longer have as many people, since we can do more effectively with a few people. People will see that you are generating revenue. People will see that you're not just waiting. It's like a father who is not able to provide for the home. Do you drive all your children outside and say, okay, you should go and fend for yourself? You find ways, you think, you brainstorm, and find ways to help your people.
We sometimes share them for family members.
So Andrew says, in as much as I want us to retain workers as much as possible, what kind of creative way can Governor El-Rufai create revenue streams of income? KV says, I think one of the major problems in Nigeria is how we run our civil service. Unlike private sector where you have targets, KPI, most civil servants cannot cope in private sector because you hardly hear government sack workers based on inefficiency.
BOS says, I don't blame him. The Nigerian system is created to cater for its leaders alone, not the followers, and politicians can kill to get to that position. That's why pensioners will not be paid by why government officials will have several appointees. Festus Akimboyewa says, it seems to me that only Governor El-Rufai understands the art of governance in Nigeria. Why keeping bloated, unproductive civil service? We should not be sentimental about it, but let him pay whatever is owed to them so that they can move on in life.
All right, that's all we can take on this segment. That's we have to run. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we move on to discuss Ebube Agu. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So recently, the Southeast governors rolled out a raft of policy decisions, including the establishment of a regional security outfit, Ebube Agu. Now, to help us discuss and understand it better is the leader of movement for the actualization of the state of Biafra, Masop leader Chief Ralph Nwazurike. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you, Chief. Now, Chief, many of us are confused because before we're told that the Southeast had come up, Biafra had come up with the Southeastern Security Network, which we thought was the official network, though unconstitutional at the time. Now there is this new outfit, the Ebube Agu. Which one has been the total consensus of the entire region that includes Masob, governors, and other Southeastern leaders? Are they all in agreement with this new outfit, or is there still a group that prefers the ESN? Chief, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. So the network is not good anywhere. But I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Anyone who believes in the rule of law should not expect any man or just an individual to set up a security outfit for the whole of the Southeast. It is the governors that are entitled as the representatives of the people, the political class, to institute and inaugurate a platform, people of the Southeast. All of us who are non-state actors had it.
Okay, so we're still having some bit of network issues.
Can we just make a call?
Okay, we'll try to reconnect that. Whilst that is happening, I mean, yes, what are your thoughts on, let me come to the ladies.
Okay.
Mariam.
So for me, when I read about the Southeast governors coming together and creating something, I thought it was good. We thought it was commendable yesterday. We sort of even celebrated it. But it was very interesting that after the show, when I was reading online and different views, there are people within the Southeast who do not accept this. They don't agree with it. First, there are those who are saying it's illegal. Others are saying they already have a security network. Why are they doing this? And others, and then there have been conversations before where some of the governors, I think a particular Southeastern governor has said, because of the peculiarity of the Southeastern states, they cannot have that united security outfit. So I guess many people are wondering, so what would work for the Southeastern states? What would they do? That's what I would like to find out today.
Okay, I'm told he's back now. Chief, are you there?
Yes, I'm back.
Yes,
I'm back.
yeah. So I'd like you to continue with that initial question. Which one is it? So you're saying that the Southeastern governors have agreed and they're the only ones that have the capability to make this pronouncement for Ibubiagu, correct?
Yes, it is only the Southeast governors that have the authority to establish a security outfit for the people of the Southeast. No individual has the right to establish any security outfit for the Southeast. I have the authority, I have the capacity to establish a security outfit for the Southeast, but I didn't do that because we must believe in the rule of law. Right. We have elected people, the governors, who are entitled to do such or perform such function. No individual, no matter whatever you are, without consultation, should open a security outfit for the Southeast region.
Right.
It doesn't happen.
Okay.
So it is only the tobacco opened or established by the governors of the Southeast that is recognized as the security outfit for the Southeast.
All right, sir. Let me get
all right, sir, Ralph. Where does that leave the Eastern Security Network? Because they have established already in that zone and they have been working.
No. Listen, there is nothing like Eastern Security Network. Nobody believes in Eastern Security Network. That was just an internet affair, social media network. Yes, social media. They do that on the social media. Nobody recognizes the ESN. I don't recognize ESN personally because nobody has the right to provide security for me when it is not legal, when it is not with the force of law. You have no right. You don't have more security than Rapo Wazurike as an individual in the Southeast. Like now, I am ready to donate 5,000 men and women to the Southeast governors to work with them. I can give them 5,000 men and women to work with them without interference. I'm not ready to interfere. But I'm looking at the angle of employment to the youth. So nobody has the capacity, even in the Southeast, to provide security than myself, because I have been there for more than 2 decades.
Let me get a few more questions in for you, sir.
Followers.
So do you agree? Do you think that this has been done legitimately now? Because we had a similar thing done Southwest, and they had to follow the rule of law. The houses of assemblies had to create laws that granted these people foundation to operate within the Southwest states. Is it the same thing happening, or just the governors just declaring an executive order of Ibubiagu?
No. Before this time, before the Owerri invasion, I was one of those who believed that there was no security issue in the Southeast. So everybody relaxed. But the invasion of Owerri exposed our ignorance to the security arrangements in the Southeast. And the governors woke up to the realities of the time to establish a tobacco for the Southeast now. So things will change. Why I am speaking now is because the tobacco established by the Southeast governors has the legitimacy of law. It represents the will of the people. That's why I'm talking about it. If it is something like ESN or something, I won't talk about it because it doesn't even exist in the first place.
Okay.
Nothing, you can't place something on nothing.
Right.
ESN is just like placing something on nothing. You don't have the force of law to establish that for anybody. Then I think it should be discarded.
Chief Wazirike, let me ask you concerning Owerri. Many have come with different conspiracy theories on what happened and why it happened, who was behind it. What are your thoughts on what happened in Owerri prison break and the burning? Who do you think is behind this and what can be done to prevent this from happening in future?
I've spoken to BBC, Pidgin, and Igbo on that. It is premature to say anything about it now since an investigative panel has been set to unravel the invasion. I don't know who did it. Even when the Inspector General of Police was accusing IPOB, I came after him. I said, why should he accuse people who even said that they were not the people who did it? And before the investigative panel to come up with those who did it or who didn't do it. So I wouldn't answer the question right as to who did it or what I thought or who I thought did it until the investigation comes out.
Okay.
Okay, Chief Wazirike, the level at which the conversation for Ebubeagụ is at now, how does it separate it from the conversation on the Eastern Security Network? Have you moved to make it legal? Are the houses of assemblies involved in pushing a policy concerning it? Because your point of view, someone else may come out and say it is just social media conversation, or at best, governors just sitting down around, with their counterparts and bringing up an idea. What have you done? What has the network done legally to push this as a legal policy or legal framework? What's the legal framework to also roll this out?
Yeah, the governor just came immediately the incident at Owerri happened to float this tobacco security network. They will as well now see that all the houses of assembly in the Southeast are contacted and they do the needful. This thing happened all of a sudden and it gave rise to reactions. It gave rise to the governors, 5 of them coming together. I can say for the first time, because if it was just another meeting, maybe some would have sent their deputy and all that. But all of them were present. We showed that all of them were serious. At the different houses of assembly in the Southeast now will rectify the whole thing. The normal things, the right things will be done. And everybody believes in the tobacco thing because, I mean, it is done, or it was done by people who were supposed to do it, not an individual. How can an individual provide security for that? Who are you?
All right, Chief. There's this plan, according to the memorandum, to reinstate the ban on open grazing. And we know that that ban has not gone through there's no law backing it actually. Is there any plan to back up this plan or back up this open grazing so that it's in the Constitution and it can be followed properly, or it's just talk shop like it has been for a while now?
You see, the governor said it. So the governor that said it. So they will back it up with the instrument of law. The thing here is that before this time, we are relating with all these herdsmen. But it was this administration, the coming of Buhari, that changed everything. When you began to see some herders carrying ammunition and all that, it never happened before. But because of something brings something, a change brings another change. Since they have changed now, that was why the governors tend to ban open grazing. And it has to be followed by instrument of law. Since they have said it, they know the proper thing to do. They have to contact the House of Assembly to ratify it with law.
All right, we're going to go on a break now. Thank you very much, sir. We're going to bring in another guest to add a few things to this conversation on Ebubeagụ. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, to continue the conversation on Igwe, we're going to be having His Royal Highness Dr. Emmanuel Agu to join the conversation. Good morning, Igwe. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Good to have you on the show. So, many of us from this side of town are happy congratulating the Southeast governors for coming up with Igwe, but there's still a bit of confusion on the Eastern Security Network's function and Igwe, and we had a guest earlier and a few minutes ago saying that the Eastern Security Network actually is a social media outfit. It's not really something that's been official. What are your thoughts on this new outfit of Igwe, and how effective do you think it will actually be in combating insecurity within the southeastern states?
Well, I believe that our governors elected have done a good job by bringing us a solution of that nature. If you know, I must inform you that every state has its own vigilante groups, and what the Southeast are trying to do is to do amalgamation of all the security network to be able to oversee the security challenges in the Southeast. So the value is just a name that will be able to bring all the neighborhood works together to be able to reason together to curb crime in the Southeast.
All right, Igwe, let me ask you this. So we know that Amotekun has kicked off, and they have been effective. Do you have any plans to liaise with them since they have gone before you to find out what has worked and avoid certain mistakes that they made at the beginning for this Igwe?
Well, one plan leads to the other. If you have the South government after this formation, the next step is to legalize it through the House of Assemblies of the state. And I believe that such amalgamation or understanding will come in future when they begin to work and practice again. Because it's all about covering crime in our neighborhood. And from one state to the other and from one region to the other. That is what our country needs now. So this is a program that doesn't suppose just rely only on the federal agency. It's a business for all. Because every one of us, no one will believe to affect things as part of your body. So in avoidance of things, we have to reason together to curb crime in our state.
Right. Okay, we have to wrap this up because I can't hear any questions for him.
I had a question. Sir, Igwe, the issue for me is how is the structure like? Because when Amotekun was launched, one of the problems was how they work with the police, because we knew they were restricted in the powers that they had. Can they carry weapons? Can the Igwe now to carry weapons? When they arrest a person, what will happen to that person? Can they prosecute? What exactly are the powers that they are given? As a vigilante group, what extent can they go, and where are their limitations?
Well, there are some certain things you must know from the screen, because we have neighborhoods. And I want to tell you that informal political structure, like that of the neighborhood, is not just all about carrying weapons. They use using authority dispute resolution to be able to face some of the security challenges. Some of the challenges are not just about prosecuting crime, but at times covering crime using community mind. That is why we are talking about community solutions. And the God is just to implement community solutions, taking security just down to the people to be able to use it together. We are not talking about carrying physical crimes now, carrying physical ammunition now, now. But what is more important now is to have a body that we use together to be able to know how to supply the system, the security system, and that is what the governors are trying to do.
Okay.
So everything cannot just come once and happen once.
All right, go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, sir. first of all, you know, many Nigerians are just happy that the regions are able to, you know, tidy up the security at that level. But we have a problem where some people feel because of where they're from. In fact, let me just be open. There's reports in the papers that Northerners are leaving some states, Enugu State, because they feel they're indiscriminately targeted.
I can't hear you very well.
Okay, so it's been reported in the papers that some Northerners are leaving places like Enugu State and some states because they feel that they are being indiscriminately targeted because of where they're from. And many people had the concerns also with Amotekun, which is, are you targeting criminals or are you targeting people of a certain ethnic group? What is the Ebubeagu stance on this?
Igwe, can you hear that? Unfortunately.
Yes, I love that voice. I love the voice.
Okay,
I only heard about what are they targeting, whether criminals or the ethnic groups, I don't know.
Yes, that's what she's asking. Yes, that's what she's asking.
Well, there's no way they can target any ethnic. Let me just use the Enugu State, for example. And the chairman of the Enugu State Security and Peace Committee, in charge of federal community relations. Of course, in that federal and community relations, you have the Sudanese, you have the Sierra, you have the Fertilizer, you have different organs, and the government formed that committee for reasoning and understanding between every ethnic group. So there's no way the party governors, of course we know the Igbo. Igbos are everywhere. There's no remote village in Nigeria that can make you an Igbo man. So there's no way that the service governor is putting a security platform that will be able to hold any other person, because they know that we are all everywhere. It's just to secure both the individuals and non-individuals living in parties, so that everyone is able to do their business adequately and appropriately.
That's good to know, sir. That's very good to know. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We continue to monitor the legal framework that is being developed for Iweagu and ensure that this is a legal outfit and that indeed they can help to begin to reduce the insecurity within that region. Let's go on a break. When we come back, it's Tuesday. We still have to discuss something on health. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So today we're discussing issues of weight loss, and many people complain, especially after childbirth, how they've developed bags in their tummy. So we have with us the CEO of Lee's Weight Watchers, with us, Elizabeth Onyema. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Elizabeth, how you doing?
You're very fine, very fine.
See, this kind of shows,
Yes.
I don't like it because we've had a few of them, and they keep telling us what we already know, but we don't do. Okay. So it's really have to have the conversation of knowing and then doing. So to join the conversation, you can call us on 081-270-53687, or you can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your TVC so we can read your tweets. Right, so thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
We love talking about health on Tuesdays because something that especially women is concerned about living well, living healthy, but still eating the food we love. So how do we, and I'd like you to focus on especially women who have given birth and are doing everything to get back in shape. What are the various steps you'd have us do and that we can sustain over time?
Okay, the first thing I'm going to say is I'm a mom. Yay! I have 3 kids myself.
Wow.
And my last 2 I had CS. And I wouldn't now, the good thing about this complete discussion is I'm not just going to be talking about some abstract experience. I experienced it myself. I'd always been an overweight child growing up. So you can imagine getting married at the age of 25, already weighing 75, 76 kgs.
Wow.
And then by the time the children started coming, I started packing on the weight and then the CS thing and all that. Obviously, I didn't like the way I looked. And yes, I was confused. I've been confused for a very long time about my weight. Now, the thing about it is, having gathered all the experience I've gathered, both from my schooling and then working hands-on with people, the very first challenge when it comes to weight loss, especially for women, is the first one is to believe that it is possible. There's just this thing in the heads of people where they just assume that once I've had kids, I'm not redeemable anymore. I can't get back to the way I was before the kids came. But that is not true. It just involves hard work. But next to believing that it is possible, the other challenge is, are you ready to change your behavior? So I could come and tell you right now that, hey, stop eating rice. Because obviously from the clinical aspect, I can tell you how rice is going to contribute to you gaining weight, gaining growing abdominal fat, and obviously not looking good. You understand me? But you as a person, are you ready to change? Are you ready to embrace this change and actually see it work on you? You're smiling. Am I wrong?
Because Nima says why
rice. Don't go to rice
because we are not imagining that you know that chefing dish at the party and fried rice minding his business in one corner, the jollof rice.
You don't go to parties every day, do you?
Wait, are you saying that rice is not? Wait, let's be clear on what we're saying. So we already know eat fruits and vegetables, exercise, exactly. We know that one, but which one concerns rice in this matter?
Okay, so now we just talked about food, isn't it?
Yes.
For you to get fat, it means that there is something that you're eating that has caused it. Do you understand? Once you're able to know these foods, then you can now work with a purpose in mind. Now, I know that given the presence of Google, the internet, people can just pick up their phone and, you know, browse stuffs and like that. There is this belief in some people that you can only lose weight the white way, that is, it has to be like, eat broccoli, eat cauliflower, you know. They forget that in Africa here, in Nigeria here, in your own native land, you can still be able to achieve weight loss eating the food that are normal to you.
Okay, let's start practicing.
Okay, we're talking about rice.
No, not rice anymore.
Go back to rice. Go back to rice. Rice is a very important topic.
So I personally believe that an African woman should have some form of flesh.
Yes, I agree with
so that when the touching comes, you know, there's something to behold and to be held.
We agree with you.
Yeah, we agree. So for the longest part of my life, I've been very skinny.
I can tell.
And so after I had my third baby, I blew up to a size 18. And it was difficult to come back. But I succeeded and I landed at 14 now. And I don't want to reduce more than this. Now, for those who are... I also noticed that my stomach now was not as sleepers flat as it used to be.
In fact.
And I am worried about it because I want it to go back. Are there certain things that I can still do to help me without losing weight, just take away my tummy?
Yes, there are. Now, the thing about it is that you said something about fats, about a woman should have a bit of flesh. I agree. And that's what we call essential body fat. So getting really skinny is not healthy because the moment a woman goes very skinny, it actually can affect some of her fertility hormones.
Wow.
Yes. In fact, there was a point in time when I was more younger and I wanted, because my BMI says I should weigh between this and that, I wanted to get within my BMI, so I pushed myself. Obviously, I had all the skills, I had all the know-how, you understand me? But the problem came when my period stopped. And then I knew, yes, I didn't need anybody to tell me. I knew that, and I could tell. Because even at that point in time, my husband, my mom, my siblings were complaining because I was looking gaunt, you know. I had no cheeks anymore and all of that. Like I know. And the moment I could tell that my period stopped, I knew that I had overdone it. Now, that is why it is important for a woman, not to, especially women of childbearing age, to be mindful about their, you know, about their chasing a particular look or trying to lose weight, be healthy. But most importantly, you said another thing again that I love so much. We have obesity generally. We have what we call the general obesity. And then we have what we call abdominal obesity. So there is a thing where a person is fat all over. And then there's a thing where a person may not be fat, but has a big tummy. Now, as a woman that has given birth to children before, let me just bust your bubble. it may be particularly very difficult
To get back
for you to achieve that slippers-like belly. And that is because you've stretched your skin. Now see, the body, as humans, we gain fat in two ways. We have what we call the subcutaneous fat and visceral fat. Subcutaneous fat is that fat that we can grab with our hands. So if you grab your cheeks, you know,
your tummy,
these are our hair, Christian mother arms, the what do you call it? Love handles at the back. That's subcutaneous fat. It hangs on our skeletal structure. Now, that particular subcutaneous fat is actually the most stubborn fat. Yes. So what you're experiencing now, the reason why you can't have that slipper, can I stand up?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Now, the reason why you can't get that slippers-like feeling anymore is because you have stretched your subcutaneous fat.
with pregnancy.
With pregnancy.
Wow.
And maybe not just one child, 2 children, 3 children, you know.
And the fourth
you
one
stretch,
loading.
and the fourth one, oh, congratulations. She said your fourth one loading, you know. So you stretched your skin. And because it is, look at it now, it can be, once you've stretched it, it can be hard for you to push it back to the way it was in its still intact state. So I'm sorry to burst your bubble. As a woman that has had children before, I have my mommy pouch. I call it my trophy. It is my trophy and I love it. And I don't have any plans to get rid of it. But there are people that might decide to go about it the cosmetic way of now going under the knife, doing the surgery.
Okay, Mara, let me let you jump in. Like,
So since we're talking about our abdomens now,
yes,
some women would say that because of childbirth, the stretched muscle, DR, I'm sure you've heard of
that's
diastasis
recti,
recti.
very important here.
Yeah, so could you explain to women what that is and
Yes,
how it
I
can help them?
will. Yes, I will. Now, I was talking about the 2 types of fat. We talked about subcutaneous, we talked about visceral. In between, so everybody has a combination of both. You have both the subcutaneous and you have the visceral. But right in between the two, you have what we call the abdominus rectus, which is practically our abdominal muscles. So when you hear people saying 6 packs, that's what they're talking about. And it is like this. Just imagine your hands like this. It's like this. Locked in like this. This is how it should be. But some of us, by the time we now begin to carry children, maybe even before we had children, our abdominus rectus wasn't so strong. Maybe it had already started, you know, then the baby now comes and then, you know, pushing. Yeah, and all that. So what happens is some women, after having children, it is not closed. It is open.
That's so sad.
so the fat now comes through. So the one inside and the one outside now join.
God bless
Oh, that's
you.
what causes it. Oh, yikes.
So what happens in the end is, when you see her standing, she has this obvious bump as if she's still pregnant. What is going on is her abdominus rectus, or her rectus abdominus rectus, I like to say that way, has stretched. What is happening inside, plus the subcutaneous as the visceral fat.
I don't marry.
Now,
I don't join.
Ay, sister.
So how do we created now is good. So how do we show the divorce between the rectus and the visceral? How do we
so now the thing about it is this. For you to be able to fight abdominal fat, the first step is to recognize the foods that trigger
Okay,
the
let's
growth
go there.
of
Let's go
visceral
to the
fat.
because this right
Sorry, now, but you know, I've talked about subcutaneous fat as the stubborn fat that hangs on our skeletal structure.
Yeah.
I have said nothing about visceral fats. Now, of these 2 fats, the most evil one, the one that has the ability to make a person develop type 2 diabetes, that can make a person become hypertensive, that can make a person have high cholesterol issue, coronary heart diseases, IBS, and all sorts of nonsense that's connected to diet and lifestyle, is that one that is inside the visceral fat. Because the visceral fat grows around the organs. So I want to give you a visual now. I'm going to scare everybody out there, but please forgive me. I've always been somebody who's been known to spit out the truth. Just manage the situation.
We're managing.
When you see a woman or a man flaunting an obviously bulging tummy,
It's money.
it's not money. That is the sign of ill health as far as I'm concerned. It is trouble for that person because that person is buying time. Just know that if that person did not have a rib cage, that fat you are seeing will start from here. Yes. So once you have a bulging stomach, do you think it's just because there's no bone here? It's just intestine. You have said the word. To stop
cage
it. To cage.
2 kg.
I love you. 2 kg, because you're giving me the exact words. 2 kg. So when you assume that you're having a bulging tummy, I think it's just your stomach. It's starting from here. Your heart is gathered with fat. Your liver is gathered with fat. Liver is not. Liver is here. Your kidneys, your lungs are swimming.
You're kidding me.
In fact, I'm not kidding you. I'm telling you the obvious truth.
That's what happened.
I'm telling you. So it is a scary situation.
So
that is why it is a sign of health. So now, how do we get rid of it? The thing about it is there are particular foods we eat that just generally makes your body store more fat inside your around your organs. So don't beat me, please. I come in peace.
Let's mention it. We're waiting for you.
Yeah, tell us because of time.
No, okay, good. White rice falls under that category.
Yes.
Bread falls, whether brown bread or white bread, it doesn't matter, falls under that category. Your beverages, and I'll tell you the good ones. Your beverages fall under that category.
Oh, I just had coffee. That's part of it.
Coffee causes belly fat. I'll tell you how. That's a different way. In a different way.
Oh, wow.
Your sugar, anything that has sugar, honey causes it. We also have gari. Let's go local.
Leave that one. Leave that one. Gary, leave that one.
Since I've been talking, a white man will still be able to understand.
Gary.
Let me now enter the African. Yes, because when we talk about processed foods, we tend to think that processed foods is just American foods. No. Amongst us here, we have processed foods.
Okay. Give us the fast.
So fufu,
I can leave that
gari, akamu, or pap.
You're kidding me.
Processed.
It's healthy.
They're processed.
Now we dey blend and mix and
No, not just blend and mix.
Preservative.
In the process, no, it's not preservative.
Okay.
There is something that chaff removal, that process of removing the chaff from the food already has put that person in harm's way of growing abdominal fat.
Yes. Okay, I need you to fast forward to exactly what we can eat.
What we can eat, yeah.
Already, you can't eat gari, you can't take a
let's just be fasting.
So, no, don't fast. What are the things that we can eat? Please. Sweet potatoes, yam, pounded yam, plantain, plantain swallow. Did I mention semo? Semo is among the bad ones.
Yes,
in fact, did I also mention
that's why I'm so slim.
That is actually causing not just abdominal fat, but a rise in blood sugar levels and all that. Wheat.
Okay.
Wheat. Whether you go to the market and buy it and blend it yourself, run.
My mom, I hope
Spaghetti, am I saying the right thing?
The brand wrong.
Yes.
Noodles.
Noodles.
God bless you.
Pasta.
Noodles. Pasta, run, because they are all made from wheat. If I start the story of wheat today, people will not leave me alone.
Jesus.
That one is another thing entirely. If I start the story on wheat, something else. So avoid all these things. Eat foods that come in their natural form with nothing removed and taken from them. What I'm trying to say in essence is, despite the fact that fufu is bad, eating abacha is good.
Because it's in the natural form.
Because it's in natural form, it is complete. It's a whole food. It still has its fiber.
Rice is rice is a staple. We all eat
If you
rice.
want to eat rice, if you have to eat rice, if you're not overweight, if you're not trying to fight abdominal fat, if you don't have blood pressure issues and other health issues, just quietly go for the local unpolished rice. There is actually, on my page, I talked extensively about rice at the end of last month.
Madam, I can almost bet you've never tasted basmati rice. I'm sure you've never tasted it.
The funniest thing is that I've had some diabetic clients who come to me and tell me I'm always eating basmati rice. And when I break it down to them, they are terrified at the amount of sugar. Do you know that just 3 tablespoons of white rice has roughly 7 cubes of sugar?
Yes.
Can you do that to yourself, like with this knowledge now that I've just told you?
I mean, sugar.
Down. Put 7 cubes in like a small amount of water, 3 tablespoons of water, and drink it. Will you do that to yourself?
You can use it to drink gari.
Sure, you can eat beans.
You mentioned beans, all the beans. And in Nigeria, we have different kind of legumes. Have you heard of fiofio? It's called pigeon peas. Have you heard of
that's what we call ilene.
Oh, Lede, you're Edo.
Ilene.
Yes, I'm Edo too.
But it takes time to cook.
Takes time to cook, but with pressure pots you can. Green peas. Yeah.
Ew, green peas.
Yes, yeah, green peas. Green peas is actually, it's not, we see it with the eyes of putting it in your fried rice. No, it's a meal. It's a pea on its own.
What about fries?
Scooping it.
A lot of people like fries.
What we used to
French
eat that
fries.
Yeah, you fry your
plantain.
even
Yeah,
your yam
and
and potatoes, you
plantain
fry
chips.
it.
Even as old as we are, you can accommodate fries for children. Don't make me go into the way they make oils. You're going to shout. There is this particular chemical they call N-hexane that if they drop it on this wood, it will produce oil. That is to produce oil out of anything. Yes. So when you're talking about the quality of food you eat, when it comes to abdominal fat in general, it has a lot to do with your calorie quality. You'll be hearing count calories, count calories, count calories. Yeah, I know count calories, but there's a reason why I can eat 1,000 grams of broccoli and not add weight. But you would take 1 bottle of Coke that has equal calories and you're gaining weight.
Yeah, and not just the weight
I'm
also
so
that
sorry,
you
forgive
feel.
me. Fizzy drinks, you know, you can take a bottle of fizzy drink and you're gaining
Auntie,
weight.
wait, let me tell you something. When you take all these
So it's not
vegetables,
just- okay.
you eat them,
Yes.
broccoli, cauliflower, everything.
No, I'm just
It's not
giving an
feeling
instance.
now.
Let me explain.
In this Lagos sun.
When you talk about good carbs or you talk about complex carbs, that's where our plantain, nutrient-dense food, she's wording it.
No
wonder we are
Look here.
I should be I'm sorry.
Look here.
Do you understand? Focus
That's like
on nutrient-dense foods. Nutrient-dense foods discourage the growth of visceral fats. They remove all those things that are growing around our organs. And then the only way, they discourage the fat from growing. And then you now have to now take up the challenge of exercising. When I tell people about abdominal fat, the first thing they're thinking is, hey, I will start crunching, doing leg raises. So when you crunch and do leg raises, you're only strengthening your abdominus rectus. Talking about diastasis recti now. We're only strengthening it. That's what you're doing.
Not burning the fat.
You're not burning any fat. Even if muscle does help to burn fat, but there's still a lot of work to do. So what are the best exercises to burn abdominal fat? Very easy exercises like walking.
That's all.
I'm not lying to you. I walked 32 kgs off my body.
You're kidding
I
me.
used to have 45 inches. I wouldn't be able to buckle my shoes myself.
For real?
Yes. Walking. And how long are you expected to walk? 1 hour a day.
That's all.
I'm telling that's just 4% of your entire day.
And tell this
tell
girl, this
me-
your
I
mouth
need to
is too
start
sweet.
working.
But I'm telling you,
But I have a friend that works that still has abdominal.
It's not that easy.
Because she's
eating.
eating nonsense.
Auntie,
Yes, that is where the problem comes in. She exercises
And then
burns the fat.
loads it up.
Then goes back to the kitchen
who is
and messes it up.
We have a
She will
friend.
now go back and eat white rice,
that white rice,
Salad
it will take
and cream.
Spirit of
the
God.
spirit of God to give, because I have delivered myself from bread. I've delivered myself from soft drinks.
Congratulations.
I've
I like
delivered
that.
myself from a few other things. But that rice,
Mariah,
I don't know.
Mariah, for that rice, you need exorcism.
It's not an issue. It is for you to know
Understand,
the
knowledge.
depth.
I can see.
The
now that I
difference
have that
between
knowledge.
me and a person who will still say, I can't do without rice, is the person that never had a health challenge that was connected to rice. At my heavy years, I was pre-diabetic. And diabetes runs in my family. So prior to my ignorance, I felt, well, they have it in my family, so me. But by the time I now had to change my life and went to school, I realized that rice is one of the culprits. Nobody advised me. I looked at my kids and said, I'm going to be with you for a while, God willing. And I chose to say no. It was my choice. And I'm better for it today. Do you understand?
Because
At
of
my
you.
heaviest, I had sleep apnea. A condition where a person is sleeping at night and she stops breathing.
Yeah.
What?
They have to, what are you saying? No, say, they'll wake you. Wake up. Is this someone like me? You put rice here. I look at you. I'm like, no, I'm not
So
going
you go to
down that
party now,
route
you be
again.
selecting. I have a
Yeah, so when I
a
go to
younger sister
parties,
who
That
does
was
Yes.
a party. What do you do at party? Because that
When
party
I
is
go
very
to
difficult.
parties, thanks be to God for the Nigerian variety that we have when we go for our parties. We have moi moi. Eat it. You have the grilled fish sometimes served there.
pepper soup.
Eat it. You eat
But
pepper
the
soup.
kind of salad they have in parties, like vegetable ice cream,
No,
they
you
have
don't have
so
to eat
creamy
salads.
and
No,
everything.
you don't. The truth about it is that you don't have to eat salads. And one of the things I always tell my clients is people tend to look at food. Another problem with us is it is the way we see food. If I were to ask you, why do you like to eat?
Oh, I love food, honey.
Why? Why do you love food?
I love food.
It gives you joy.
It gives me joy. Honestly,
Do you know
food and good food.
Yes.
I love to go to a dining place.
I pass Abattoir and I see those shaded tomatoes, onions. I feel like I'm alive.
This one doesn't affect me. It's the one I got to go to restaurants. So people like me that I'm a foodie. I mean, I really love food too. No, you're not a foodie.
No, I am.
Auntie, you're not a foodie.
Honest, let me tell you something. That pounded yam was like a staple. It's still a staple in my life because I'm an Edo girl.
Hey,
it's still an Edo girl.
So it's good. Pounded yam is good.
Yes, it is good because you're not removing anything from the yam.
Not adding anything. It's natural.
You're not adding anything. It's natural. It's filled with nutrients.
But we don't beat
Do you know,
yam
ma?
Wait,
that's it. I don't have a yam pounder. I tell my clients that, I use the pounding as a means to burn more calories so that I pound, girl. I'm an Edo girl. So you can tell me not to pound yam.
Pounding.
Do you understand? You
grow like a boy's arm. I don't want it.
Okay, we are here. We're closing the show.
Okay.
Auntie, we'll bring you back.
Please do. I'll be happy to come back.
We need a full 1 hour with you.
I
We need to really understand
and break our
hearts.
hearts.
It will be good to have you.
Please
because-
ensure that when you're bringing me or when I'm coming next, I need a blackboard.
Yes,
I need a blackboard. There's some
Okay.
tools, there's some things I'll come with. It really needs to be.
Sure.
It is important that we do this because people are dying. People are carrying a pouch. People even assume.
Go ahead.
People even assume that weight gain, but it's only people that are fat that needs this knowledge. No.
Yep. Yeah.
People think when they see you that you're fat, they'll just say, this one likes to eat too much. No, they are skinny people that look thin on the outside, but they are fat inside. They are called toughies. Yes.
They're called what?
Toughies. Thin outside, fat inside.
Wow.
Are you talking to somebody that?
So inside they have fat, but their cage have covered it, so they think they're
God
skinny.
bless you. Yes.
Oh, jibi.
So when you see them, their capacity to carry subcutaneous fat is very little. But their capacity to carry visceral fat is massive.
Hey,
How do you
Holy
tell?
Spirit.
How can you
The
tell?
first sign is, as a woman, once you notice that your waist inch is moving above 35 inches, begin to work on yourself. That is a sign.
I have to.
Because
Any
above
woman.
35, yes, any woman, above 35 inches means that you wear a top like this and your belly will pop. That it will begin to pop. If you don't work on it immediately, now so it will just
They go.
I just said my producer, hey.
Okay. At times, it's better you don't know some things.
it's good to
Your
know.
guests just they scare us. I want to record it now. In Nigeria, we don't have
Nice
variety.
again.
I'm not skeleton because I want to lose weight.
You see, say, please help us ask our auntie in the studio if it is okay to eat a bit of rice with plenty vegetables.
Now, people tend to assume that when you eat rice and vegetables, that your body processes them together. They are different. They're different classes of food. So your body will process that rice first, while your vegetable will take a longer time to process. So while it is processing that rice, it will break it down. You know, carbohydrates break down from the mouth. Moment saliva, I touch it. And like I said, you need to bring me back. I need to explain the 3 parts of a carbohydrate: starch,
Okay,
fiber.
we'll bring you back. But
So you need to understand this. So no.
we have to run.
Yes.
So we should not eat rice, yeah? In
My
milk tea.
advice to you, like I said, is go for the local rice if you have to.
Eat rice.
And try your best not to eat only rice. So this thing of everyday rice in Nigerian homes is irritating, it's wrong.
Okay, we'll bring you back because she needs to tell us what we should be eating.
Yam, potatoes.
My dear, every day.
Yes, she
Plantain,
can.
plantain.
Plantain. But not just
Auntie,
fries.
there's breakfast there. Breakfast.
Yam, potatoes.
Plantain is not in the market now.
Let me say something quickly because
Yes.
Nigerians have this thing. When you say, okay, you can eat plantain, so it becomes plantain in the morning, afternoon, night, and every other day. So
It's
you
okay.
still eat it.
But it's still okay.
No, but the truth about it is that you cannot eat plantain. Plantain is a heavy food, especially when you're going for the unripe or semi-ripe ones, which are the healthier
No,
or
sweet
better
now.
options. So, like I said,
We have semi-ripe.
We have to run.
Semi-ripe is sweet.
We run out of time. Auntie, we run out of time.
Thank you.
We'll bring you back. I'm doing a full 1 hour with you.
I'm telling you.
That's all we
Very
can take.
happy with you.
Yeah, thank
See you
so much.
tomorrow.
All right.
Bye-bye, rice.
Okay.
Bye.